Hi everyone, my name is Jessica, and let me introduce myself. I was born in Dallas, Texas, and I love it so much. I love being a Texan. I've been here my whole life, and I never want to leave. I love it so much. And I have an amazing family. I have a mom and a dad, and an older brother, and they're all the nicest people ever, and they're so great, and I love them so much. I'm the youngest in my family, and I'm 23 years old. And that's really hard for me to admit because I feel like 23 is so old. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, 23, that's not old at all. 80, 90, that's pretty old. But 23 still seems really young. But that's not how I see it. When I look around and compare myself to my friends who I graduated high school with, our worlds are completely different. They all have successful careers. They all have their own houses, their own apartments. They're paying their own rent and just living their independent life as an adult. Me, I decided to go to a Bible school for 3 years to get trained in ministry, and so I still have 2 more years of college to go before I can get my education degree. 5 years ago, if you asked me, Jessica, what are you going to do in 5 years from now? I would have been able to tell you my 5 year plan. I would have graduated high school. I would have started my career. I would have been on my own as an adult, living an independent life. And that's really where the starting point of my life would begin. When I see my friends, I think success. When I see me, sometimes I hate to admit it, but I think failure. And I know that's not true because I know that when I do graduate college, that I'll be the best teacher I can be and I will be a success. But it's really discouraging to see other people who seem to be having everything on track, who are doing everything right the way they're expected to. And I think that's because I'm looking through the timeline that society gives us. They tell us when to graduate college, when to go to college, when to get your first job. And there's so many expectations put on us. And I know that a lot of you out there feel the same way. Maybe you feel different from everyone else and you feel discouraged. Maybe people have been discouraging you because you are different. But I want to let you know that there's nothing wrong with being different. I don't know where we got that from, that it's so wrong to be different, because it's not. Different is what makes you unique, and different is what makes you you. Now, let's talk about some people right now. If I said the names, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Babe Ruth, Beethoven, or Dr. Seuss, what would you think? Successful, fortune, fame, are those some of the words that are coming up in your head? That's what I think, and I think that's what ultimately everyone is striving for. But what if I told you about a man who got fired from his newspaper editing job because his editor told him that he lacked ideas? Or an athlete who holds the record for having the most strikeouts? Or a musician whose music teacher called him hopeless as a composer? I don't know how y'all feel about rejection, but it is tough on me. When I get rejected the first time, I automatically just want to give up. But listen, these failure stories that I just told you actually turned into be the biggest successes in the world. Walt Disney was fired because they told him that he lacked creativity and ideas. Babe Ruth, considered by sports historians to be the greatest athlete of all time, is also famous for holding the record number of strikeouts. Beethoven, who created the most beautiful music, was told by his music teacher that he was hopeless as a composer. How many of y'all have ever been told something like this? That you're not good enough, that you're never going to succeed? If these men listened and didn't follow their passion, where would the world be now? There would be no Disney World. There would be no Babe Ruth. There would be no Beethoven. If they decided to listen to these negative thoughts, would they have become successes in their lives or failures? I want to encourage you that just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not going to succeed, that just because it takes you a little bit more time to do what you love doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. You have the power to create success or failure, and you have the choice to decide which path you're going to go on. I said earlier that I felt like I needed to accomplish certain things before my life really would begin. But that's not true, and I think it, and I know that y'all think it too. If only this would happen, then I could start living my life. If only I could do this, then I could start living my life. Well, let me tell you that you're living your life right now, that you started living your life the day that you were born. And it doesn't matter what you've been through or what you have to go through. All that matters is that you're never going to give up and that you will make a difference as long as you believe in yourself. There's so many things in this life that are trying to hold us down. And one of the biggest things I think, especially for me, was waiting. I was just constantly waiting for something better to happen. I was waiting for change. But listen, you don't wait for change, you make your change. Because if you wait for change, you'll be sitting around forever waiting. And you need to take control of your own life, and you need to follow your heart. You need to follow the path that was made for you. You shouldn't conform to what everyone else thinks that you should be. So now's the time. Get up and go follow your dreams. No one says you have to be a failure, and no one can believe in yourself more than you. So go and be who you want to be, and don't try to follow what everyone else thinks. Do what makes you comfortable. Do what makes you happy. You're the only one that can control your happiness. You need to learn to choose happiness, and you need to learn that perseverance and hard work will be fully worth it in the end.